home. So you can't do that because guess what? As soon as you back out, those warlords are going to take control of the opium trade.
That's right.
And there's also a pipeline as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's the same old story. You know, like we said about the Skull and Bones, it was created with the opium drug money. And there's a history of the clipper ships that was used to transport the opium. That you devils financed that. And this is going back to the 1800s, the early 1800s. So it's the same old game. You go into a country, you steal their resources, you enslave the people, and then you make money off the resources. This is the same old game. But yeah, bring it out.
This is from conspiracyarchive.com.
Lift up your voice.
Conspiracyarchive.com. I'm going to just get to the point. It says, in 1823, Samuel Russell established Russell and Company for the purpose of acquiring opium in Turkey and smuggling it to China.
In
1823.
See? What's the difference between 1823 and now? A bunch of years, but it's the same old game. It's the same old bullshit.
Just
right?
laid back.
It says Russell and Company merged with the Perkins.
Merged with the Perkins. Go on.
Syndicated. That's
Where are you looking? Yeah, syndicate.
Syndicate in 1830 and became the primary American opium smuggler.
Primary American opium smuggler. Because the elites, two ways they got their money from. Well, the first way is from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who put you on top. The second way is drugs. Well, really slaves, then drugs.
Slavery was a big money maker.
Big money maker. So there's nothing moral about you devils. There's nothing righteous about you.
But they don't think they have to pay for the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't think they have to pay for it. You know? Matter of fact, in Texas, I think, what was the name of the book company? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's McGraw-Hill. And I remember as a lad, I used to read books that were printed and published by McGraw-Hill. And a recent book that they put out on history, they said that the black slaves, the Israelites, they were immigrants. So the young black boy went to his mother and showed him, and she made a big deal of it, and they're suing the school system, and they're gonna change the books. Well, wait a minute, you didn't know that when you were writing it, putting it down? Don't you have proofreaders?
Yeah.
Right.
So that was bullshit. You were trying to take away the stain on your history, man.
Spewing on your glory.
The spewing on your glory, because you have to deal with this. It's called accountability, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get caught out there, and you got caught out there, right?
That's right.
You're being sentenced right now.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
You're being sentenced, and the punishment is getting ready to come.
Punishment's coming.
Okay.
They wanted to see if they could get away with it, man.
Yeah.
They tried to
Well, they knew they wasn't
slip
gonna
it in
get away
there.
with it, man.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's the devil for you. They do things slowly, okay, until it becomes the norm. But plausible deniability is not going to work with the scriptures. It doesn't work with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right?
Yeah, like when it comes to the Native Americans, and the argument is made by so-called Native people that you stole our land. Then what the devil do? He'll go, well, the Indians took the land from the North American Indians took it from some other people that
Where's
was
the
here.
history on that? Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence?
no evidence on that.
And since you mentioned the North American Indians, it's said that in the Skull and Bone building that they possessed the skull of Geronimo.
Yeah.
And I read something else. That there was a couple of famous people who they possessed it said that they possessed their skulls. Now there's a lawsuit, and I don't know if it went all the way up to a certiorari up to the Supreme Court, or is it one of the lower federal courts? And they named the respondents, and one of them is two of them are the Bushes.
Yeah.
I think it's Daddy Bush and Baby Bush, and if you look further, Barack Obama was also named in that suit. So Barack Obama has something to do with this, even though he wasn't a Skull and Bones member, all right? But he attended, he attended some of the classes, I would suppose, all right? We do know that he was set up, man.
Yep.
So this is a bag man.
Yeah.
Like the young brother said earlier, that anytime you become the president of the United States, they already got their eyes on you. They're already grooming you from the time that you're maybe 15, 16 years old. Because they had a organization of young politicians, and they had Kennedy visit that organization, and lo and behold, Clinton, as a young man, shaking
Kennedy's hand.
So we knew that he was going to eventually become the president.
Yeah. Well, there's pictures of Obama looking very young. You can tell he's very young, posing with Brzezinski. Zbigniew Brzezinski. All right, so like the Apostle of said, they've been groomed since they were very young.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, because they're trying to push that New World Order agenda.
Keep it going. Keep
Yep.
the pot
So
boiling.
they got to train them, to be able to push forward the new policies and the new legislation or whatever it
Which
is.
are all wickedness.
Yep.
They got to train them to keep that wicked train going down that track. But guess what? That track is going to
going down that track.
that track is going to be
Derail.
derailed. When Yahushua comes, he's going to derail that track.
Taking a ride in the wrong train.
Go ahead, brother. Hey, well, even Bob Marley wrote a song, Zion Train. Zion Train is coming.
Well,
Our
when
train.
that train gets derailed,
Yep.
hey, the tracks are still there.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new train.
New train. Yeah.
You know, and that train gonna roll over that old train.
That's right.
You know?
Zion Train. Zion Train. Go ahead, brother.
And this is Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
That's
There
it.
you go. You want to
That's
read it
it.
again? Call it and read it again.
Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries.
Yeah, what's an example of unrighteous dealings? Well, the way that you so-called white people, Esau, the way you got this land, the way you got America. It wasn't righteous, it was unrighteous. And now you have a saying called Indian giver.
Yeah.
Implying that the so-called North American Indians gave
They
you
didn't
the
give
land,
you anything. You
but
took it.
You took it. Come on. You gave them smallpox.
That's
infested
right.
Blankets. All right.
Rotten food.
You know, there's so much
Yep.
history on how you took this land from the so-called North American Indians. All right. So that's your example of unrighteous dealings. Go on.
Injuries.
Yeah, injury to the so-called Negro, slavery. That was a big blow to the so-called Negro, slavery, right? Which they're still feeling the effects now. All right, all these generations later, they're still feeling the effects of slavery. Physical and mental, especially mental. Go ahead.
And riches got by deceit.
Riches got by deceit. All right, the opium trade, which you use some of those riches to build a skull and bones fraternity, which we're standing here right now and condemning you to your face. How's that for irony? Go ahead, brother.
The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Yeah, from you to us.
That's right.
Yeah, because riches are never lost. Property is never lost. It's just transferred from one person to another.
Excellent.
You know, the next kingdom that's coming belongs to Yahushua and to us. So that inheritance is going to be given to us because we're
Right.
joint heirs with Yahushua.
Speaking of inheritance, this is the inheritance of, what is that, Daniel 7 and 18. You can bring that.
Okay, I got you.
Then there's another one, the inheritance of the saints. You got to, bring it up.
Okay, this goes back to what the apostle said about telling it to your face boldly. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then the righteous, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before.
Yep. Read a little slow. There's a lot there to say.
A little bit louder.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
Stand in great boldness. We're not sitting here. We damn sure ain't leaning. We're standing, man.
Yep.
All right? Even though we're full of aches and pains.
Yeah.
We're standing, man. Standing in great boldness in front of you devils. We're telling you, devil, you're the devil to your face with a heartbeat. All right?
Saying it right in front of the skull and bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we'll give
Ain't
it to
that
you,
a
boy.
trip?
We'll give it to you raw. Go ahead, brother.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him.
Yeah, that's the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, all right? And all the other nations, but mainly the Edomites, Esau. Go ahead.
And made no account of his labors.
Yeah, even though there's a book called Black Inventions in America, In the book, it tells you all the inventions that we made that made your life comfortable. We still don't get no credit for it.
Residuals.
You talk about, you white boys talk about rock and roll. Yeah, rock and roll, dude. Well, who made rock and roll? All right. First of all, rock and roll was a euphemism meaning sex, to have sex.
That's right.
Which you stole. All right. I believe you said, "Oh no."
No, he did the door.
Oh, okay. Sounded like you said, "Oh no." Rock and roll was a euphemism that you stole. Now you're talking about rock and roll. Rock and roll was created by so-called black people, which you so-called white people stole.
Israelites.
Yeah, Israelites, which you stole, you Edomites. Right? That you steal everything else. But you made no account of it. You never gave us credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because that whole so-called rock and roll thing really started like from the blues, man.
Yeah.
The blues.
Exactly.
Those were the real roots of that.
Yep.
Starting off with guys like Robert Johnson,
Yep.
you know, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and all them guys.
It's interesting.
Little Walter, Little Richard, Chuck Berry.
It's interesting
Yeah.
you mentioned Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson, when he did his sessions, which were recorded, which we have today, which influenced a lot of, like Eric Clapton was influenced by it, all these guys. When Robert Johnson used to play, he used to play with his back to you, and he'd play facing the wall because he didn't want you to see how he plucked those.
That's right.
Because he didn't
right.
trust you. It's documented.
He knew you were the devil.
He knew
you
it.
were the devil. All right?
Yes, he did.
You can go Google it. It's documented.
Well, when what's this guy, the great trumpeter I spoke about? No. This guy is more recent, 60s.
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. He wasn't no Jake. He was a Reubenite. I believe he was a Reubenite.
Yeah.
Because when he used to play them sessions, man, and Edomites would be in the audience, man, and I saw a film on it, man. He'd come out there looking like he wanted to bite your head off, and he'll play with a mean look on his face. And he'll put the trumpet down, walk to the back, smoke a cigarette, and come back out and play some more. Not one smile, you know. Like we today, we'll smile at crackers, man. But you know what? Don't be deceived by the smile, okay?
Yeah, we smile like a gator.
Or we smile like a baby and bite and get ready to bite like a gator.
A pit bull can smile too. We show you them teeth.
You'll smile and
It
bite
ain't a
your
smile.
ass.
It ain't a pleasant smile. It's a smile to get in your ass. Go ahead, bro. You're the devil, right? You so-called white people, you're the devil. Go ahead.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
Yeah, we can see evidence of that now. A lot of these so-called white people walk by, they look at us, they look traumatized, like they've seen a ghost. All right, go ahead.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
That's Yahweh Shai coming back and cracking the skies. All right, busting them clouds. Okay?
Busting them clouds.
It's going to be strange. See, polite in the black consciousness, you don't believe it because it's strange.
Well,
Sounds strange to you.
they know it's true, but they've been paid off. They're part of that circle, inner circle, outer circle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well,
They're set up, man. That's why they're allowed to make, and that's why Polite is able to live in Beverly Hills and drive around in a
that's
fucking Bentley, man.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah, he makes a living off trying to debunk the truth.
Yeah.
But you got Jakes out there that if you tell them that, it sounds strange to them. It's like, nah, come on, man, what drug are you taking? But the scripture speaks about the strangeness of this salvation. Because it's going to be a strange thing indeed to see chariots covering the skies and people taken up. They're going to think they're watching a sci-fi movie. Yeah? But where you think the sci-fi movies got the concept? You got it from the Bible, from the scriptures. Even Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, admitted that he got his idea from the Bible. All right? Anybody want to make it?
Yeah, I got something real quick. This is Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Made no account of his labors. It's a fact that the so-called black man, the Israelites, built up America. While you devils were sitting on the porch drinking mint julep. All right, the slaves were in the fields working.
That's right.
Breaking their back. Okay, but now you want to erase that out of the history books. Now you want to conveniently
I
erase
keep
it out
looking
of
at that
history
shit because I'm
books. This
thinking
proves
it's
that you're the
broke.
devil.
Yeah, it's working.
You know,
It's working.
man.
But you can't erase it. You can't erase
5:30
it.
you said,
Slavery was
right?
been
Yeah, 5:30.
That's
Get ready to
right.
get
It's already etched in the mind.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
That's why you try to erase it out of the history. Hold themselves not guilty.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay that tab.
That's right. When slavery is brought up, you devils act like, well, that was 200 years ago. That was,
Yeah.
Why you guys don't forget? Live and let live. Forget. But every year you remind us of the Holocaust,
Yeah.
the so-called Holocaust, which
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah.
9/11.
A fictional, am I saying it right? A fictional
you
event
said
that
it
never
right.
took place. And going back to the North American Indian thing, you damn devils, you already try to rewrite history with the whole thing with the North American Indian thing. I mean, you're doing it now with the slavery. Even back when we were children, the stories that they would try to tell us as kids, tell us that, oh, when the Pilgrim, you know, that little, the fairy tale story about how the Plymouth Rock and the Pilgrims came and the Indians came out and they had a big meal and had fun together and everything was all good. It didn't go down like that. That was a lie.
Well, it did somewhat.
Yeah, well, you had some
Because
sellouts.
You had Gadites, tribes that, when
Yeah.
right, but even prior to that, when the Gad and Reuben came to the so-called Americas or the land of Canaan, they were broken up into several
Yeah.
tribes. So when Esau came over here, the Plymouth Rock incident, what happened was one tribe had beef with another tribe, and they knew about Esau having those musket guns,
Fire sticks.
that they call them.
Yep.
And they said, "Look, if you kill our enemies, we'll help you." And that's what happened, man.
Yeah.
And some of them, a lot of them were taken advantage of as well.
Yeah.
You know? So there's,
Yeah.
A play on history. They'll play with the history itself.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time that the Pilgrims were coming in Plymouth Rock, you had the Spanish coming in California and different parts slaughtering Indians all around.
And then they
But they
knew
don't
that-
tell you about that. They just tell you about the Pilgrims. They don't tell you about the Dutch coming into New York.
But we understand that because that was the beginning of you so-called white people, you Edomites, being set up. All right, that was the beginning of you being set up, your new world order, your kingdom being set up. That was the very beginning of it. And now you're still ruling, that's why earlier we made the statement, you've been ruling for about 500, almost 600 years.
Yeah, it's going.
That was your beginning. But now you're at the end, all right? That's why the scriptures say better is the end of a thing than the beginning.
Right. That's right.
So
For us.
for us, we can't wait till your end. All right? Yahweh Shai represents your end. Go ahead.
It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Yeah, because it was time for us to go down and for you to come up. And you did become rich. We talked about the opium trade. We talked about the drugs. We talked about slavery that netted you all that profit.
Yeah.
But now you're at the end. As a matter of fact, James, the 5th chapter, beginning in the first verse. And it's going to start with you bankers, you top elite families. You're going, don't, like in Monopoly, do not pass go. No, how's it go? Do not collect 200, yeah, something like that. Do not pass go, do not collect 200, something like that. Which the game Monopoly was based upon the bankers.
That's right.
As
That's
a
right.
matter of fact, there's a picture of, is it Wahlberg? Paul Wahlberg?
I believe so. He looks like
No,
Morgan.
I'm sorry, not Wahlberg. J.P. Morgan.
Okay, Morgan, which he was
J.P. Morgan.
he was basically a,
Yeah, he was a low guy.
he was a a charity case.
Yeah.
They set him up.
But
The
look at the name.
Rothschilds set him up, just like the
Yeah.
Rockefellers were set up by the Rothschilds.
Yep. But look at the name of the game, Monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah.
Monopoly.
One
out of many.
That's right. One ruler, one
ruler.
you know.
One world order.
So when you think about the
Great
Democratic,
again.
debates and the Republican debates, it's
They're
all bullshit.
controlled
It's one party. They already know
fully.
who's going to be the next
They're
president.
Yeah, they know,
So
man.
It's a monopoly, dummies.
by
That's
the
why the game was
lobbyists,
so
Yeah.
popular,
by the
because it gave you a
donors,
chance to feel
and
like
by
a
the
king.
special
Yep.
interests.
You know, especially if you're winning at the
They
game.
control it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
I
the
have
elites play. They're
lobbyists.
playing their game.
A mind game.
To produce anything for me.
Go ahead.
They're great.
James chapter 5, verse
You know
1.
what?
Now there's the game, the end game.
And right after that, go to Job 20. You don't got to go right to the point. Go right around about the 5th verse, because this lines up Because we getting at you, devils.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, the Spirit, God is getting at you. What better place? We're
And
in
it
the heart-
feels good.
Yeah.
We're in the heart of your what is it? Your enterprise, being crowned with success. This is part of it.